We came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. We see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He's starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back off, come on fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. We see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back with you with another new What If for you guys. And yeah, I know doing a new What If right off the bats a couple days from now is kind of stupid, actually. I get it. And I know what I said, I wasn't planning on doing anything new until I finished or canceled at least a few What Ifs. Well, if you've noticed, especially if you are a fellow YouTuber yourself, then most YouTubers, especially low content YouTubers such as myself, the numbers that we used to make of viewership and counts have been dying down lately, actually. Not because content has been lacking for many YouTubers, no, mainly because YouTube has refused to offer up small content creators such as myself and many other What If YouTubers that are still on the platform to this day, alongside a few other YouTubers too, aren't really being suggested, mainly because of the nicheness or because YouTube is focusing more on big name YouTuber channels. Mainly YouTube channels that our subscriber count is around that of the millions or around that of the 500,000s. Anything smaller than those channels with those numbers and subscriber count, then you're not going to be referral to anybody. I've learned many YouTubers, especially game content YouTubers, What If YouTubers such as myself, and even YouTubers that focus more on analyzation and development videos haven't been recommended like they used to be back in the day. So it seems once again YouTube is on that bullshit once more, just like I said a couple weeks ago, and even to this day. So, and it's basically caused a huge dent in my ad revenue as well. So for the meantime, a lot of What Ifs I was going to be putting on hold until I finish my current ones, or put other What Ifs on hold or cancel them, will be releasing a lot more earlier than before, and a few What Ifs I just thought of on the spot, I'm going to give them at least a shot. So yeah, any rate, first new What If to basically get me back to the numbers I had before alongside my revenue is, what if Deku had a Monsuno's? Anybody remember the goated series that is Monsuno? Then you're going to be in for a treat. Sure, the show isn't really that deep, and it's basically your everyday Saturday morning anime cartoon actually. So, with that of an overextended plot and crazy hijinks. Hell, I think the number one thing that people refer this series as is close to that of either Bakugan or Pokemon. Mainly Bakugan though. But during my vacation, I was on a bit of a binge watching anime that I basically didn't have chances to watch due to me being busy as that of a What If YouTube content creator and also an editor as well, freelance editor as well. Also outside the anime that I watched with my girlfriend too, I was able to catch up with at least that of 3 animes that I wanted to watch for the past couple of years when I was on vacation. if the internet at the condo I was basically staying at wasn't screwing me over. Also, during that time, I was on that of watching that of old school anime and cartoons I was watching, such as that of Tenkai Knights, Stormhawks, and such as, you guessed it, Monsuno as well. Unlike that of Tenkai Knights and Stormhawks, which has actually pretty deep and pretty amazing lore to the series, surprisingly, Monsuno's lore is not that hard to actually understand, to be fair. The only problem is that, well, it's hard to remember all the names of the Monsunos after all. But other than those small hiccups, I think I can handle this series, and it'd be fun to see on how far I can go with it. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we guys? Currently, somewhere in that of the Amazon jungle, lies that of a young man walking through this tropical, lushful, and beautiful greenery of a land, with having, as the young man is basically close to that of 14 to 15 years old, as he has that of messy green hair, big round green emerald green eyes, and diamond-shaped freckles on both cheeks. Some would say he has that of a plain face, but to me, the kid seems more adorable than plain, as he's wearing that of a light blue jacket, under it being that of a black tank top with that of a green stripe in the middle, black pants with that of green, with that of red boots with that of with white soles on the bottom, as he goes through this forest and wondering on where he's heading at. Before then, soon, he begins to hear something coming behind him. Something growling, as it looks like that of a lion. The young man couldn't help but freak out and be scared, as he's running through that of the forest, trying to get away from that of the lion, as yelling from the top of his lungs. At the same time, few other lions begin to appear, as these being female lions, as they are running a lot more faster than that of the male lion, actually. Within, seeing that of a large branch vine, within, grabbing onto it, swinging up into the air. Within, the three lions pounce right onto Izuku as soon as he flies up. However, once they basically pounce, they fall off that of a cliff, unfortunately, falling to that of their imminent demise. With that of the young man, he couldn't help but have that of a fall relief before having that of a look of pure utter sorrow, seeing a loss of life, and only affected by that of their instincts alone, which is a shame. However, unaware to the young man, as he sees something falling from the sky, as it looks like that of a meteorite, as it begins to fall and fall and fall. However, the fire around the meteorite looks green, as the green meteorite lands into that of a water, as it creates that of a large splash that even the water reaches close to him, where he's right close to that of a cliffside after all. However, once the water finally dies down, green flow begins to ride around that of the water. So it begins to spread through that of the water veins all across that of the jungle. Before then, it affects the entire jungle itself, as the plant life begins to even become alive in some way or another, to the point that the branch that was around Izuku soon basically wraps around his arms before flinging him off that of the ground into that of the canyon, as he screams for his life, thinking that he's going to die. Before then, soon, everything turns black. Within, the young man opens his eyes abruptly, almost in that of a cold sweat. Within, soon, realizing, oh God, that dream again. Every time when I see it, it always affects me like that. Within, as currently the young man is riding on that of a tour bus, a bus that's heading to a certain location. Within, looking at, as he pulls out that of his phone, saying, It's only another hour until I arrive at that of Dad's lab. Hopefully I wonder what he really wants to talk to me about, especially given what's happening. I got those dreams, those visions. Nah, I'm just overthinking things. Probably because of all the stress I've been going through for the past couple of days. As the young man says this, as he begins to reminisce, as currently, and this young man is known as Izuku Midoriya. And in this world, 80% of the human population have that of a superpower, a unique gifted trait in the meta ability known as quirks. These quirks allow anybody that you would see in that of comic books, manga, anime, and cartoons become that of a reality, but still had to revolve around that of laws of physics, logic, and reasoning, of course. Some quirks can basically, can basically go against the laws of nature and reality, but there's always still a scientific explanation behind it, though. When quirks first appeared, law and order basically became that of a distant memory. It was every man, woman, and child for themselves. To those with quirks, they were seen as that of monsters, demons, to be fair. However, over time, as years gone on, quirks began to become more of the norm and not really much of a problem. Even so, just because quirks become a thing of normality doesn't mean that people are just going to just sit by and do nothing. As people began to think that quirks are now normal, some people began to use their quirks for their own selfish reason and their own wants and desires. For example, a person using their quirk to basically hurt others and take things from them. Or, for example, a group of people using their quirks to basically rob a bank, for as well. And those using their quirks to destroy and hurt people, all because they want to. These are known as villains. Society was still on the breaking point and still haven't reached that true stabilization when quirks appeared. That all changed when they appeared. A new profession was born when that of villains began to appear in the public. This was known as pro-heroes. They first appeared as vigilantes in that of Japan and that of America, and then in many other countries as well. But soon after, when America was the birthplace of the superheroes, creating the pro-hero scene, the profession of being a pro-hero, helping and saving the innocents, just like that of police officers, fire department, and first responders as a whole, being paid to take care of and save those in need as well. Not only that, the military began to be phased out of certain countries that didn't want to phase out their military power just in case, such as that of the US, the United Kingdom, Russia, Mongolia, and surprisingly, or not too surprisingly, Poland. Many other nations, though, phased out their military for that of pro-heroes, though. Japan was one of them. However, the United Nations still needed at least some military force to keep at least that of even the heroes in check, especially when they tried to do international work outside of their respective countries, or countries that also have pro-heroes but not a lot of pro-heroes. This would be known as the United Force Military, or UFM for short. But even so, pro-heroes began to become the more popular and more prominent, mainly because of certain heroes that appeared throughout history. One of these heroes is located in the very homeland of Izuku Midoriya, his idol, the one that inspired him to also want to dream of becoming a hero. This is All Might, the number one pro, the symbol of peace of Japan and possibly even the world. All Might inspired basically an entire generation, even when he graduated from that of his school, the hero school known as UA, which because of him and a few other pros, the school has become one of the most seeked out and most popular schools of all time. And and not only that, he went to that of the United States to broaden his education in that of heroism into that of college, actually, where there he made a name for himself as another great promising hero. Because of this, All Might was considered to be one of the best all around the world. The one person that make everybody believe that anybody can become a hero. Except one little problem, especially for Izuku. With him, however, he is one of the 20% of the human population of the quirkless. Quirkless are basically considered those of the bygone era. The normality of humans now turn into the abnormal because of them no longer being able to have that of a quirk, or not born with a quirk. Most of the 20% of the human population without quirks is considered that of the older generations, though. However, there are still some children born quirkless. Izuku is one of those select few. Because of this, many friends that he grew to have over his childhood now completely abandon him, abuses him, bullies him. Even adults don't even see him as even human anymore. Some adults, at least, treat him at least normally, while some, mainly being the majority, though, not so much. Izuku is now 14 years old, basically a kid who always wanted to be a hero. During this year, he's beginning his final year at his junior high, known as Aldera. The school doesn't really care too much about him. A few teachers do. Some students don't really have any problems with Izuku. However, the majority, even his younger students, who are supposed to be his kohais, don't even respect him either. All because he's considered quirkless. Even his former childhood best friend, Katsuki Bakugo, his greatest tormentor throughout his entire life, throughout 10 years, ever since the age that they were 4, he turned his back on his former friend and now continues to look down on him, bully him, belittle him, even treat him like a punching bag using his quirk, explosions. All of this went ahead when he planned on applying for that of UA High this year, his and Bakugo's dream schools. However, Bakugo didn't take this lightly when their teacher basically announced it to the whole class nonchalantly. Because of that, Bakugo basically belittled and treated Izuku more like crap than before, with the help of many of his other classmates laughing at him and belittling him as well because of his quirkless status. Even after when the day ended, Katsuki Bakugo still threatened Izuku if he ever went to UA for the entrance exam in the next 10 months. He would basically make his life a living hell. It also didn't help that he even suicide baited him as well, which basically put one hell of a blow to that of Izuku, proving even more that their former friendship is completely and utterly dead between the two of them. And it just got even worse. Right after Bakugo destroyed that of his hero notebooks for the future to analyze that of multiple heroes and their quirks, he was soon attacked by that of a sledge villain, basically leading him to that of being saved by his idol, All Might, even giving him an autograph in that of his burnt notebook. However, the Green Net team wanted one thing, and one thing only: if it was possible for somebody like him to be a hero. So he clung on to that of the blonde-haired, muscle-bound pro, and while they're flying in the air, they soon stopped to that of a building. As All Might was about to run off, Izuku had to ask if it was possible, if it's possible for somebody like him to be a hero without a quirk, with everybody basically telling him that it's impossible, putting him down and continue to basically trample on his dream. He wanted to know from his idol, from the man that always said that everybody could become a hero if they work hard or train hard to basically achieve it. Just like Izuku, who's worked hard, trained hard to try and become a hero, even while people have basically done nothing but try and belittle him and beat him for even trying to work for it. However, he didn't get that answer as he expected, mainly because All Might in front of him was basically deflated, with even Izuku believing that he was a false All Might, but All Might telling him that he is, mainly because this is what he looks like nowadays, all because of one certain fight that happened about that of 5 years ago, with Izuku believing that the fight was done by that of Texas Chainsaw, with All Might telling him that that's not the fight that happened, even though it's not a well-known fight. He wasn't really much of a problem. No, the villain that done this to him was somebody even more dangerous, more powerful, with even showing him his stomach, showing him the wound on that of the left side of his torso, which basically is in between that of his stomach and intestines. With All Might telling him that parts of his stomach is completely gone, half of his lung has been torn apart, and even a bit of his intestines is were damaged too. So he's gone through so many healing quirks and surgeries that this is what remains, a gnarly, scarred up wound. To show that he is the #1 hero, he always has to continue smiling. Continue basically being the #1 hero, no matter what. Within All Might saying, so it has to be realistic. Because there's no way that a quirkless person can become a hero without a quirk. Within hearing that, Izuku finally had fully on confirmation that it's truly impossible to become a hero without a quirk. With then, soon, All Might telling him that, to be realistic, he could still become that of a police officer, a doctor, or many other, or possibly even join that of the military. The military still accepts quirkless people, even to this day, so there's nothing wrong with that. All the same, he still needs, being a hero is completely out of the options for Izuku. And soon, All Might leaves the rooftop, leaving Izuku all to himself, all alone, with no one there, as he thinks about the very words that Bakugo told him to do, to take a swan dive off the roof. As he's just right there, right at the tip of the edge, he could do it. There's nothing else to live for. Nothing else to basically live for after all. His dream was the one thing keeping him going at this very moment. And now that his idol basically told him that's impossible, what else is there? As Izuku is about to take that final step, within soon, he begins to feel his phone ringing, as it being that of a text message from his mom, basically telling him to come home safely, and that she'll be waiting soon. Within, getting another text message, as it being from his dad, telling him that that if he plans on applying from UA, then he better work hard for it. They won't take just about anybody. Within, these are the messages from that of his parents, his family, the people that do generally care about him, that genuinely look after him. His mom has basically done everything she can to be there for him and support him, even though she doesn't believe in his dream of being a hero. She still has always loved and cherished him, quirk or no quirk. And then his father, who has always been who's basically a world-renowned scientist, a well-respected one as well, known to be that of an archaeologist for that of extinct animals and dinosaurs as well. Even a well-respected biologist in that of the field of zoology as well, having a great respect and kindness for that of animals. Even Izuku, having that of a great fondness for animals around him, even that of the very animals and creatures that live in that of the city of Mustafa, is the very city he lives in too. Have a great he has a great kinship with them as well. Even though a lot of people believe that it was a quirk, even Izuku at first thought so too, but it's not. He just has that of a great connection to animals, it seems. Within reading these messages, it just made Izuku come to the realization that he's not truly alone. That even if his dream is gone, and the majority of society basically hates him for just merely existing, there are still people that generally do care about him and look out for him as well. With Izuku stepping back, realizing what he was about to do, he couldn't help but cry to his knees and basically say that he's sorry over and over to his parents that aren't even able to hear his apology to them. After that, Izuku planned on heading back home, leaving that the stairway with now as being that of late in the early evening, with the sun starting to come down as soon as he arrives back home, with his mother waiting patiently for him, worried about him, as Izuku was about to explain that he met All Might, with then saying that he took a detour after seeing a villain attack happen a little while ago and wanted to get some notes. Not wanting to tell her about how All Might told him that it's impossible to be a hero. With then Inko saying, "Oh, I see. I still worry when you always go straight into those villain attacks. Let the pros handle them, and seriously, what are the crowd thinking, being around that of villain attacks as well? They should keep their distance too." With Izuku saying, "Yeah, I guess so. But still, can't blame them for wanting to cheer on their favorite hero, right?" With Izuku trying to make light of the situation, even though personally he's still hurting on the inside, but now has at least a better resolve though. As Inko couldn't help but smile, saying, "I guess so. Anyway, I'm gonna get dinner ready. I'm guessing you want katsudon, right?" Within, Izuku couldn't help but smile, saying, "I appreciate that a lot." With that, the plump woman that is Inko Midoriya heading into that of the kitchen to prepare that of her son's favorite dish. With then Izuku saying, "Even though it's impossible to be a hero without a quirk, I'll still want to try at least. I still want to try and aim for it. If I can't get into the get in without the UA entrance exam, then truly give up on my dream. Give up on ever being a hero ever again." Within coming to this realization, with Izuku throwing his bag in his room, before getting a message from his dad telling him that in the next couple of days he wants him to come to his lab that's right on the bottom edge of Mount Fuji. With Izuku wondering this, basically telling him to come in 5 months. So around August, actually. Around that time, during at least at the end, in the middle week of August, the third years always go on that of a trip outside. Go to a trip into that of one of the cities, and we basically stay away for at least an entire week. But I never tag along. But I'm not going to tag along this year. I'm not trying to deal with basically being ridiculed and looked down upon throughout that entire week. So I think I'll just decide to skip out on it entirely. I think it's better that way. With Izuku coming to this realization, deciding to take up on his father's offer to show up to come to that of his father's lab around that month, in the month of August. With now, the months have now gone by, and it's finally time for that trip to that of his father's lab. While his classmates and former childhood friend Katsuki Bakugo enjoys themselves at a generic 4-star hotel and seeing a few sights and all that, he will basically be spending time with his dad, one of the few people that generally care about him always. With now seeing that of a bus stop, which shows a pathway to that of a village. However, there's also that of a roadway leading to that of the village too, and that village leads to that of his father's lab. As Izuku has been at his father's lab at least a few times. Once when he was at least at 3 years old, during the time when he took him out on that of an archaeological dig, actually. The second time was, around when he was 10 years old, actually, To be honest, when he was 10, he could feel something coming from his lab. A special room, actually, to be honest. It kind of made him feel uncomfortable, but also curious at the same time. But deciding to put it aside after all. It also didn't help that one of his dad's assistants basically took him back before he could even wonder what it was that felt like was calling him. And now this is going to be the third time, taking the path that's leading to that of the village where his dad's lab is, which is basically a good 10 to 15 minute, hike actually, which normally would basically leave Izuku at least a little bit exhausted and tired, but due to him doing that of a bit of exercising and working out here and there, it wasn't too bad. A little bit annoying given the narrow spaces and that of the old pathway, but even so, he's still able to handle himself. Within, seeing that of a clearing through that of the woods, he can now see that of the village ahead, which is basically a settlement composed of that of 500 to 600 people. There's at least that of 2 elementary schools and 1 junior high school though. As for the high school, there's only at least 1 nearby, which is most people have to take that of the bus to get there though, which is a pretty lengthy drive to be honest. But some of the young, kids such as Izuku, around Izuku's age, don't really care that much, besides a select few. As Izuku is getting closer and closer to that of his dad's lab by walking through that of the small village, with a few people basically giving Izuku a look of understanding, some with that of content, while some hopefully welcome Izuku into that of their village by waving at him and smiling. Kinda makes sense on why a lot of people would think this. When it comes to countryside such as a village like this that's not really close to that of civilization that much, they are a little bit, weary of people. Heck, it was like that for his dad and that of his, assistants and co-workers as well when they set up the lab in this area. But after a few years or so, they began to open up to them, even became part of the community itself. So it isn't all half bad after all. With then soon an elderly man saying, Izuku Midoriya, is that you? As the elderly man starting to have that of a receding hairline, as his hair is still have a bit of black in it, but it's also starting to gray at least a little bit on the sides. As he's wearing that of a green button-up shirt, while also having that of a regular hat on him as well, as he's currently driving in that of a tractor right now. Within, Izuku getting a better look at saying, Mr. Zenji, isn't it? Saying, you still remember me. It's been a long time since I last saw you. Within saying, about that of 5 years actually. Saying, time flies by, I have to say. You've come to see your father? Saying, yes, actually. Well, good for you. I was actually I was just finishing up the fields a little while ago. Why don't you tag along with me? Within saying, I wouldn't want to. It's no trouble, young man. This small village of ours don't get that much company after all. And your father and his team are basically as much as part of this community as anyone else. Counting you, you count as this community as well. Within, Izuku couldn't help but smile saying, thank you, sir. With that, he gets behind that and one of the trolleys. Not to mess with that of the produce though, as that of the tractor is getting closer and closer to that of the lab, as it takes at least that of a good 10 minutes or so. As Izuku could have walked, it would have just taken at least probably 12. But even so, progress is progress. Within, Izuku getting out, then saying, thank you for the ride, Mr. Zenju. Again, sorry that you had to get away from that of your home. Saying, nothing, lad. It's no problem. Tell your father I said hi. Within saying, I will. Within, Izuku getting heading up the stairs, heading up to that of the giant white and blue building, as on the sign said on the side says Cortec Labs. As many people as it seems like there's not a lot of people here. Normally the lab has up to that of 30 to 40 employees actually. Right now it only seems like there's not even that many. He does see a few people walking around a bit, but now it only looks like there's possibly 10, maybe 15 left of the staff. With then soon a scientist saying, "Hey, who are you, kid?" Saying, sorry, I'm here to see my father." Saying, "Your father?" But then getting a better look at him saying, "Holy crap, you're Izuku, right? Dr. Midoriya's kid. Hisashi, right?" Saying, "Yes, sir." "Huh, so he did ask you to come." I was really, to be honest, I didn't even think the guy would show up. Getting a better look at the scientist that calling out Izuku. He has that of spiky, messy brown hair, as he has that of a bit of a bland face with that of blackened eyes, and not really any distinguishable features that basically forces him to stand out a little bit. With then saying, "I'm one of the assistants that basically came to this. I was assigned to this lab at least a few years ago, actually. Got to know your father at least a little bit here and there. Being the head of this lab, it kind of makes sense since he's my boss." Within Izuku blinking multiple times saying, "Wait, he's your boss? But I remember my dad just being a regular, archaeologist and that of zoologist scientist." Saying, "Wait, that's what you only see him as? Oh boy, you don't know much about what your father really does here. But I guess it's not my place to tell. Probably best for him to say." But then Izuku saying, "What do you mean?" Saying, "Like I said, it's up to the boss to tell you, not me." But then Izuku saying, "Speaking of, where's the rest of the other staff? I remember this place having that of at least 30 people. Now it doesn't look like, with only that of a few scientists walking past Izuku, with even some that recognize Izuku waving to him and basically asking if he's doing okay and saying hi as well. But the rest somewhat new." But then saying, "Right. Best to tell you now, Cortec Labs is shutting down actually." Within Izuku saying, "Wait, what?" "Probably be shutting down in the next year. Probably next year actually. Give it at least out of 5 months or so." Within saying, 5 months? That's the same time that the UA entrance exam, that my entrance exam would begin. So it would be ending next year? Why?" Saying, "It's really complicated, kid. Trust me. Luckily, your father, Dr. Hisashi, has found a way to at least continue our research, even without that of, government-supported funding, actually." Within saying, "Wait, isn't that illegal?" "Most definitely, yes. But they can't really do much if they don't have any proof about it. As long as we can still continue our research, this is what matters the most. The studying Monsuno essence is basically the greatest gift of all." Within Izuku saying, "Monsuno essence?" As the doctor didn't even bother answering Izuku's question. Within soon entering in that of a elevator, within pressing a floor as it goes down to that of level 3. Within Izuku saying, "But this place only has that of 3 levels. Did you guys build something?" "Yeah, honestly, we're kind of glad that we had to do the building in between to make sure that that of the villagers didn't even notice. Most of it was done inside of the building actually." Within saying, "Isn't that unsafe?" Saying, "Oh, trust me, it was pretty much a lot unsafe. But we were able to get it done after at least a good while or so. The 3 levels are basically secure levels that we do our lab work in. The 3rd level is mainly where your father does all of his work at, and where he wants to speak to you at." Within, Izuku a little bit confused, wondering what he means. Within, soon, the elevator doors open, as then Izuku couldn't help but be looked in utter shock and surprise, as seeing that of tons of dinosaur skeletons and bones. Not only that, even that of fossilized bones and skeletons of prehistoric animals as well that have gone extinct after all. From saber-toothed tigers to woolly mammoths, and even recently extinct animals such as that of timber wolves and Siberian tigers, the number one most extinct animal being polar bears. With then, Izuku couldn't help but be completely shocked in seeing that of the skeleton remains and fossilized remains of all these extinct creatures. With then, soon, saying, I think it's best that he tells you, so I'm gonna head back up and get everything taken care of. Get back to work. It's good to meet you, Izuku, and good luck. Saying, wait, what do you mean by good luck? Without even saying a word, he soon that of the young scientist walks away. Within, Izuku couldn't help but gulp, as walking through that of the white corridor lab, before then seeing that of a nameplate saying Dr. Hisashi Midoriya's private lab, as Izuku basically knocks, within saying, who is it? Saying, Dad, it's me, Izuku. Saying, wait, Izuku? You've arrived? Oh, thank God. Please come in. Within, Izuku entering before, however, as he was about to look to the right before the door slides open and then slides close. As if he looked on the right, it said that of Dr. Emmanuel Clips, with inside seeing that of multiple beakers, test tubes, and even that of surprisingly some weird grayish white devices. With then, however, there are a few of them that are basically all compiled together into that of one bag. With then soon seeing that of green-like liquid that are basically in that of test tubes right in front of his dad. With him basically typing on that of multiple computers before then finishing typing, turning around, seeing that of the man known as Hisashi Midoriya, a black-haired and somewhat 5 o'clock shadow man that looks exactly like Izuku, however, more on the messy hair department though than the actual looks. He mainly gets his looks from that of his mother, Inko. Within, Izuku saying, hey, Dad. Saying, good to see you, Izuku. I'm really glad that you could show up. Saying, yeah, I'm glad too, but why didn't you tell me? Saying, tell you what, that Cortec Labs is going under and going to be shut down next year? Why didn't you tell Mom? Saying, oh, damn it, Dr. Elliot, you bastard. I wasn't trying to... But then, taking another deep sigh, before then saying, look, Izuku, I wasn't trying to hide it from you and your mother. I was going to tell you, but wanted to wait until the perfect opportunity to do so. Heck, it's the reason why I brought you here, that I wanted to tell you that Cortec Labs was coming to an end, actually. And then when you told me that you weren't even going to be tagging along on that of your class's, final trip I kind of thought this was the perfect opportunity. With it, I'm guessing the reason that you didn't go is because you didn't want to get bullied the entire time. Am I right, son? Within Izuku looking down, within Hisashi can help but stand up, walking to his son, and then hugging him close, saying, hey, it's okay. It's okay, Izuku. I understand. I truly do. But things can change. Just give it time. Besides, you still gonna plan on applying for UA, right? Saying, well, of course. Well, then, you still got that. Sure, by the time that you apply for UA, Cortec Labs would be shutting down, given that be our last day. Well, the reason why a lot of people in staff ain't here is because some people have decided to move on to other locations and other city and basically go to other jobs, especially working for another company, another organization, and another, fully government-sanctioned organization, actually. With then saying, wait, there's another organization doing the same thing you're doing? Like, being an archaeologist? Saying, somewhat, actually. Actually, Izuku, I'll tell you this tomorrow. Actually, this will probably explain things a lot more better than I can in person. I recorded it basically over 20 times to make sure to get it all right. Saying, wait, then why don't you just tell me in person? I would, but again, I need to get these taken care of, and I want you to take these as well. Sending them through mail was too dangerous, to be honest, and I didn't want anybody else getting them. You're the only person I can trust with this. For the meantime, stay here in the village. Go to my place. And then tomorrow morning, you head back to Mustafa. But then saying, wait, seriously? You just brought me all the way here so I can basically take your research projects that you've been working on? Honestly, what is all this stuff? Well, then Hasashi saying, well, simple terms is, this is basically my life's work. The number one reason on why I became that of an archaeologist, a zoologist, and basically a bioscientist as well. My fire-breathing quirk was more than was never really meant for hero work. I mean, I could probably train it to basically become that of hero work, but it would put too much strain on my throat. So I decided to do something better with my life. Become a scientist. Look at the history. And I found this on an archaeological dig when I was at least that of 20 years old during my college years. Within, seeing that of a green-like energy and fluid basically flowing. This is known as Monsuno essence, my son. Within, Izuku looking at the glowing liquid as his emerald green eyes couldn't help but engulf that of the green-like substance as well. Within, saying, Monsuno essence? What is it? It's an energy source that's been around the planet for years. Saying, wait, years? Well, I wouldn't say years. More like centuries, generations. It's been around since the very moment when during the age of the dinosaurs. Or rather, it's been around since the day that the dinosaurs went extinct. Possibly one of the many meteor fragments that consumed that of the dinosaurs, actually. Causing the Earth to change, to be fair. Within, hearing this, Izuku saying, whoa, seriously? What kind of energy does it have? What doesn't it? Izuku, this Monsuno essence is more than just that of energy. It has the very it's the coded DNA of every living thing on the planet. Within hearing that saying, wait, seriously? Saying, seriously. And to be honest, it's quite dangerous. There's a lot of people in this world that would do anything for that of Monsuno essence. And just imagine what would happen if people started using Monsuno essence with that of their quirks. Within saying, that's quite dangerous. Why haven't the heroes why didn't you tell the heroes about this? You really expect me to tell the heroes about this, Izuku? It's about Cortec Labs is basically is government sponsored, but it's also a privately funded lab, mainly my lab and my company. And not only that, I worked with that of the government, and now they basically want to try and take my lab. It's the reason on why the lab is shutting down in the process. But to continue my work and to continue basically studying Monsuno essence, I've decided to basically work from afar even more. Over the years, besides preparing for that of your college funds, actually, and helping you and your mother, I've used a little bit of my resources to basically build multiple labs all across the world. Even some mobile labs, too. Let's just say a few employees were quite a little pissed about me cutting off their paychecks. But it at least helps them to continue their jobs, after all. So a few of my employees are basically in other places around the world. Basically, those other labs. For now, one of those labs are also getting ready as well. It will basically be that of a mobile armored RV, actually, and a few other things too. So for the time being, I won't be home for at least a while. Not until I fully understand the Monsuno essence tapped inside of it. However, my biggest research is being able to harness the Monsuno essence through that of other means. These are one of them. After saying that, Izuku is completely and utterly dumbfounded, while Hisashi walks over to his desk, pulls out that of a safe, puts in that of a combination lock, as within soon a hissing sound basically appears. Within soon pulling out, being that of a rack of 5 blue spherical objects that look like that are the very things that are in a bag, that are basically in a bag that Izuku passed on the way here. Within, Izuku saying, What are these? Within, pulling the middle one out from that of its holster. This is a spin core. Within, saying spin core. Inside of it holds that of something that I call a Monsuno. It's fully explained in the video that I want you to listen to once you get back home. Actually, these are the 3 that I fully have mastered, that I've fully taken care of. As for the rest, I'll send you at least that of a few Monsuno essences that basically hold, that you can put in that you can put inside the cores actually. But before that, these are the only ones I've been able to finish fully complete, to be honest. Until then, I'm entrusting you with the rest. They're within. Izuku saying, "You're entrusting me with your life's work?" Saying, "Yes, you're the only person I can trust with this, Izuku. You and your mother, but mainly you. Because knowing you, you'll be able to put them to better use than anyone I know can." Within hearing this, Izuku feeling like a huge burden has been placed on his shoulders. A huge burden that his father is entrusting him with his life's work. Everything that he's done to basically live for. Saying, "Dad, I appreciate it, but Izuku, please. You're the only one I know that can do this for me." Within hearing this, Izuku still a little bit hesitate, but decides to listen to his father as he shakes his head that he'll do it. Within, Hisashi can up a smile saying, "Thanks you, Izuku. You're the best son I could ever ask for." Within, pulling out that of the cores, and then putting them in that of a special suitcase, as it being a small suitcase, but even so. Within saying, "Here, only use these when it's necessary. And but within saying, "Wait, use them? Why would I?" "Just in case to defend yourself, trust me. Any one of them would do." Within, pulling out that of another special bag. Within, saying, "And here's the rest, just in case." Within, soon, Izuku saying, "I get it, but..." As he soon holds that of the white cores, as his dad calls them. Within, he begins to look at that of the green like Monsuno essence in that of one of the beakers. As for some reason, he could feel like something glowing inside of it. As it feels like it's glowing, but it's not. To Hisashi's eyes, it looks pretty normal. But to Izuku, he could feel something connecting him to the Monsuno essence. But decides to ignore it. Within, Hisashi saying, "You okay, Izuku?" Saying, I'm fine. Real fine. Any rate, go back to my place. You remember what it is?" Saying, "Yeah, it's right behind that of the lab, if I recall. It's the housing for all the scientists." Saying, "Yeah, don't worry. You can use my room or any other rooms." Within saying, "A lot of people did leave, did they?" Saying, "A lot, yeah." As Hisashi couldn't help but sigh in that of somewhat annoyance and also sadness as flames begin to pop out of his mouth, as basically a sign showing that his father is truly saddened and annoyed. Within, he's saying, "Like I said, Dad, I won't let you down." After saying his piece, he soon leaves his father's lab before waving. But then, Hisashi couldn't help but smile. Before then, he soon sees that of a video call, as it only shows that of no picture, but only voice only, as the text say. Within saying, so you're really entrusting your boy with all your hopes and dreams, especially with all your Cortex cores. Within saying, I have no other choice. Storm basically poached almost half of my staff. And it also doesn't help that Eclipse is already starting to make his move by selling all of his cores to anyone that can pay for them. Within, my son is the only one that I know that can keep them safe, especially with that of his special ability too. To think that you basically bribed almost half of all the doctors in Mustafu to basically lie about your son's true quirk to protect him, though. Within saying, I'll do anything to keep my son safe. Besides, he's also the key to unlock the truth behind Monsuno essence. And the best way to finally come to see the truth is for him to connect to it in a different way. As Hisashi couldn't help but clench his fist to his chest before flames began to leak out of his mouth, saying, through the Monsuno. The very next day, Izuku begins to leave the village, with a few of the kids and elderly basically waving Izuku off as he begins heading back down the path to the bus stop. Within, still having that of the small case in his hands with that of the 5 blue light cores, and the others being that of the empty cores and that of his other bag that he put inside that of his clothing bag. Within, wondering, I really hope Dad is smart leaving them in my hands. Within, soon arriving back at the bus stop, after at least that of a good 20 to 25 minutes, the bus finally arrives. Within the bus stop, the bus driver saying, where are you heading? Mustafu, Tokyo Prefecture. The driver saying, all right then, kid. Probably be at least a good 2 hour to an hour drive. Hope you're comfortable. Saying, I'll try. We gotta make at least a few stops after all. As Izuku gets on the bus, seeing that of a few people, basically some sleeping, some on their phones, some basically playing a few games, some messing around using their quirks, while Izuku goes in the very back, goes close into that of the middle of the bus, with then him taking a seat right next to the window, with then soon begins to look outside as the bus begins to move, within seeing that of the remaining forest scenery go by him, within looking around, seeing that of his fellow passengers. A few of them don't really stand out, except this one girl with that of pink dreads and wearing that of a uniform, wearing that of a school uniform, within thinking, wait, why is it makes no sense. This is still a school, besides my school, basically on a trip, actually, especially for all the third years. It makes no sense. I don't think a lot of other schools have that of school trips. If they do, within soon. Izuku wondering, it's not my place. She may be on a hooky or something. With soon noticing that she's fiddling with that of a certain device. Within wondering what it was, but deciding not to, comment on it, as it's not its place. As soon as the bus continues driving, something begins to explode on the top, as then rocks and debris begins to fall down, with the bus soon stopping abruptly, with a lot of people jolted out of their sleep, whatever they were doing, dropping their devices and many other things. Even the girl that was fiddling with that of a small spear-like object basically completely drops to the ground, and that of complete and total shock, saying, "Ah, my baby! What has happened? What the heck? Who basically just hits the brakes like that out of the blue?" Within, Izuku trying to nurse that of his head, as he basically slams his head right on that of the hard seat. Within, looking back, noticing that of the rocks and debris, saying, wait, a rock slide? But it makes no sense. We're in out of an area where rock slides would never happen. Unless, within, soon, one of the passengers in the very back say, oh my god, there's a villains behind us. Within, looking back, seeing that of 3 villains. Within, soon, one of them saying, villains are also in the front of us too. At least one of them. As one of them begins flowing down, as it looks like that of a female actually wearing a full black uniform with a few gray straps around that of her chest and her arms and legs, with that of her face covered by that of a mask, only covering that of her mouth. Within, soon, the bus driver saying, oh man, a villain raid attack. They probably be wanting many of your objects, people. Best to basically do what they says to get this over with sooner. I know some of you probably have a lot of good belongings, but I doubt the heroes are going to be showing up anytime soon, especially in the countryside right now. Within, many of the people couldn't help but feel a little bit worried and scared. Within, soon, Izuku saying, but we can't just give in to the villains just like this. I mean, it's not right. But we had to hold out. I know the heroes would show up. I know they will. Like all within, coming to the realization about what All Might, about all those months back. Those months back when he met him, telling him to give up on his dream on being a hero without a quirk. Saying, but I don't have a quirk. I don't have power. There's no way I could do anything to help. I'm just useless. Within, basically clenching his fist. Within, soon, the top of the bus begins to get ripped off. Within, as the metal begins to groan and creak, as it soon completely rips off, with everybody screaming in that of fear and worry and panic. Within, soon, the woman saying, hello there, my unwilling participants in this little act of ours. You can call me that of Seismic. Me and my cohorts here have stopped this bus because we've wanted one thing, your belongings. Anything of value, give to us now. If you basically tried anything to stop us, or try and prevent us from taking anything of value, then, well, within soon, a rock soon begins to levitate over her, before, at high speeds, it's sent into that of the middle of the bus, creaking and indenting the metal quite a bit to the point that it almost exits out of the bus entirely, with everybody still freaking out and screaming, saying, that will happen to your head. Now then, would you all please do us a favor and give us what we need? Hold up something of value right here and now, or you're going to get hurt. Within, however, while she was basically monologuing and basically ordering everybody to give up their items, Izuku was sending that of a message towards that of the police to send that of a hero, even text messaging his location on that of the highway. Good thing he still has that of satellite GPS in part of the warranty. It was made when his mom was always worried about him and his location after all. Even if the phone is basically busted or broken, the satellite GPS was still trigger after all. As many people are basically, giving up their items such as their wallets, some of them giving up their phones, while some are basically giving up some of their stuff inside their bags. Izuku, on the other hand, refuses to do any of it, as right now, these are the items that his dad entrusted him with. If he gives them up, he's basically betraying his dad's wish, what he wants for him, everything that he entrusted to him, as he can't do that. Then, soon, it begins getting closer and closer to Izuku, within the female villainess saying, okay then, care to explain why the two of you refused to give me your items? Within, Izuku saying, wait, two? Within, looking back, as it being that of the pink-haired girl from earlier, who's still pissed, saying, I'm mad because you basically destroyed the thing of me that was in value, you damn villains. You basically wrecked my baby. But then everybody in that of the bus and even that of the villainess and even some of the villains that are in the back, basically 2 guys and 1 girl, were all completely confused, wondering what the hell does she mean by that of baby. But then saying, I worked so hard on that gear. It was supposed to be one of the prototypes I would use to get into UA, and now it's basically broken because of you idiots. You don't deserve a damn thing from me. Within Sue saying, oh, is that so, girly? You don't think we deserve anything from you because we broke your stuff? Within she getting closer and closer to that of the pink-haired girl saying, then maybe I think it's about time we show you on the situation that you're in and what happens to those who don't give in to our demands. Within she backing up, while still hovering in between that of the bus. Within she raises her hand. Within the pink-haired girl begins to fly up into the air for a bit as she's saying, hey, wait, stop. Within one of the pastors saying, hey, you don't need to do it. She's just a kid. She doesn't know any better. Saying, this is basically to show what happens if you idiots disobey us. It's too bad the girl didn't. You had so much of your life ahead of you. This is what happens when life doesn't go your way. But then soon, she was about to fling the pink-haired girl up into the air and possibly either into the pavement or possibly into that of the waters below. Within Izuku, without even thinking, as his body moved on its own, saying, no, stop! As he tackles the girl that was still in the air. Luckily, she was only that of a few inches that wouldn't be too hard for Izuku to basically jump up and stop her. But then she goes down to the ground. Izuku knocks her to the ground hard, within causing her to basically grunt in pain while losing that of her focus. Within the pink-haired girl saying, what the? As then saying, everybody, please go! Leave now! You have to get past the rocks and debris! Within everybody just listening to Izuku began to run out and began to go, with even some that were behind Izuku began to run away as well, except that of the pink-haired girl, as she's still completely and utterly shocked and surprised that a kid like him just decided to step in like that of a hero. With then Sue, she's the telekinetic woman, we couldn't help but say, you damn brat! With then getting him off and pushing him back. As then soon he grunts in pain. He grunts in pain and falls slumped to that of the ground. Before then getting telekinetically raised up to the air again, saying, a brat like you needs to know your damn place. You're not a damn hero. You're just a useless brat. Maybe if you had a quirk, I can already tell. You should have used your quirk to stop me instead of just charging at me. But seeing that you didn't, I'm guessing you're probably a quirkless bastard. Huh, killing you, I'm basically doing you a favor. Having a life like yours, you probably don't even have much of a life to begin with. Within soon, pushing Izuku back, as then he soon gets closer and closer to the villains from before, that all wear the same outfit as that of the telekinetic villainess. Within, all of them couldn't help but laugh. However, right out of Izuku's pocket, being that of the small case that his father gave him, being that of the blue cores, with then soon Izuku saying, these cores, I had to protect them. Dad trusted me with them. But then soon remembering his dad saying that whenever he's in trouble, they'd be useful for him. All you need to do is spin them. But then saying, useful, spin. I don't know what you're talking, Dad, but within soon, he could feel one of them begin to react to him. One of them began to call for him, like he could hear what they're saying. Within, Izuku pulling out the one in the core and that of the middle of the top case. Within, grabbing the case once again and closing it. Within soon, one of the male villains couldn't help but show that of lightning crackling around that of his left hand, saying, "This is going to be fun." Basically, breaking a quirkless bastard is always one of my favorite pastimes. It's always within one of them say, yeah, they're so rare of them. It's so much easier to basically break them since they don't have powers. They're so squishy to enjoy burning them. As flames begin to erupt around his fingers, within another, as the last one, being the female villainess that was walking, saying, "Oh yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun." As soon rocks began to coat around that of her arms. Within soon, Izuku standing in place, with that of a serious look, saying, "I feel it. I can hear it. The one inside of this core, the Monsuno essence. I don't know why, but I feel like I've heard it before back then." As Izuku, back when he was at least 3 years old, he could remember hearing, listening to the Monsuno essence. He doesn't know why, but he just can. Right now, the Monsuno essence inside of this core, or rather, the one that's inside of this core, is speaking to him to launch him out, to spin. With then soon clenching onto the core, before then breaking it back, saying, "Launch!" As he soon brings it down, with that of his index finger, it begins to spin, and that of a bright blue. As soon as he spins it, it's heading straight for that of the bus. Within soon, it begins to cling, and right out of the edge of the core, something blue, a massive blue-like figure comes out of it. Within, it begins to transform, morph, and have more distinguishable figure, as it looks like that of a giant, large polar bear with crystal claws and crystal spikes on its back, with that of bright blue eyes. Within soon, it unleashes a powerful and unstoppable roar. Within soon, the villains can help but be completely and utterly shocked. Even the telekinetic villainess couldn't help but say, "What the? But he's quirkless. I can fit. I don't know how to sense it, but was he lying? Did his quirk have to use some kind of support device? What's going on here?" Within soon, Izuku could feel that of a holographic generator begins to appear right in front of the core that he's holding on to. As he's saying, "Whoa, this is the very thing that Dad was talking about. This is a Monsuno." After saying that, Izuku's life begins to change for the better, as this would be the start on how he became the world's greatest hero. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. So, how did you guys like this? I know this was a pretty long one, but I needed to basically make it a pretty well detailed one after all, and explain the things that are happening. You know me, I like details and I like giving them out so it doesn't feel like I'm just doing shit randomly and all that bullshit. So Asashi has that of a more prevalent role in that of this What If, just like how he has a more prevalent role in that of my What If Izuku was Mega Man Star Force What If as well. He's basically the leader and, well, head of the core of that and creator of the Cortec cores, or where Izuku, if you guys didn't know, will be the leader of Team Cortec. And I already have the first member of Team Cortec all raring to go. As for the other 3 members of Team Cortec, I'll probably make a poll for that for the time being. Until then, just wait until part 2 comes out. So, with all that said, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification key to date my videos when I upload to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, side channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later, guys. I hope you all take care. Do your thing, Shiro. You know what to do.
Hi, everyone. This is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!